Welcome to Midwest Mini Adventures. Join us on our inaugural journey down US-69. Watch us going a whopping 75 miles an hour. Our first stop is Lewisburg Cider Mill. Enjoy apple cider, warm donuts, and browse the gift shop. Fun fall events draw visitors from miles around, and the locals love it too. Along our journey, you can spot the Evergy Lacine Generating Station. A coal-fired power station dominates the landscape along US-69. Coal mining became a major industry in Linn County in the 1880s. All coal mining has ceased in Kansas, with the last mine closing in 1968. Surrounding the power station is Linn County Park with beautiful Lacine Lake. It's a picturesque location for a picnic, available for camping, RVs, and cabin stays. This lake is great for fishing, boating, and viewing the local wildlife. We had a few close encounters ourselves. Make sure to catch it at dusk. It is truly beautiful. Stretching for 167 miles, the Frontier Military Scenic Byway in Kansas begins near Fort Leavenworth to the north and follows closely to the historic military trail used to move supplies and troops southward to the frontier forts. From this location, it continues south to Fort Scott and further to a memorial in Baxter Springs, honoring soldiers who lost their lives in 1863 when Quantrill and his men attacked and burned Fort Blair. This rest stop is situated between two nearby historic sites, both deeply impacted by the events leading up to and including the Civil War. The Mare-de-Scene Massacre State Historic Site is 5 miles to the east, and the Trading Post Museum is found just 1 mile to the south. In 1854, the Kansas-Nebraska Act gave Kansans the power to decide whether the territory was to become a free state or a slave state. This action led to multiple clashes among the free state and pro-slavery forces in the area. May 18, 1858. Charles Hamilton led 30 pro-slavery men to the town of Trading Post, where they captured 11 free state men. The captives were marched several miles to a ravine. Of the 11 captives, 5 were shot and killed, 5 were injured, and 1, amazingly, managed to escape unharmed. Later in June that same year, the renowned abolitionist John Brown arrived at the ravine with several associates and built a fortified 2-story cabin. John Brown remained at the cabin through the end of the summer. This area is now the state historic site, with a public park featuring descriptive signs of the historic event. It should be noted that the stone building on the site, while historic, is not the John Brown cabin, but it does rest on the same location. Trading Post, Kansas was founded in the 1820s. Its primary function was obtaining pelts from Native Americans in the area, as well as local French fur trappers. The Trading Post Museum features Native American, Civil War, and early pioneer artifacts. It also houses the extensive history of the local residents. Extensive details on the Mare-de-Scene Massacre are displayed in the museum, including maps, a detailed diorama, and what may possibly be the original door from John Brown's cabin. Further research may be needed to help prove the authenticity of this piece. Unfortunately for this small, quiet town, in the early 1840s, The nearby Frontier Military Road would deliver the Civil War to its doorsteps. On October 23, 1864, in present-day Kansas City, Missouri, 22,000 Union forces, led by Major General Samuel Curtis, defeated Price's 8,500 Confederate cavalry force in what has become known as the Battle of Westport. During the fall of 1864, Confederate Major General Sterling Price began a military campaign across Missouri. He had previously served as the governor of Missouri from 1853 until 1857. The overall goal of the campaign was to gain Missouri for the Confederacy. This in turn would hopefully be a hindrance to the re-election of Abraham Lincoln during November of that same year. By October 24th, the remaining Confederate troops were heading south in Kansas along the Frontier Military Road towards Fort Scott. They stopped and made camp for the night near the Merdocine River. A portion of this battle site is located directly north of the Trading Post Museum. The Confederate soldiers were tired and hungry. Often they took the food and supplies they needed from the local families and farms as they moved through an area. This deprived the local residents of their winter food supplies. During the night, a cold October rain began to fall. The downpour heavily muddied the path before the retreating Confederates and made the journey treacherous for the men, their horses, and the many wagons carrying their supplies. The skirmish began in the pre-dawn hours. Union forces fired down from the nearby hilltops on the encampment below. Major General Pleasanton, leading the Union troops, pursued the Confederates to the Merdocine River. Even though the Union troops were outnumbered, they attacked. This action forced the Confederates to withdraw, moving them further south toward the fateful events at Mine Creek. On the morning of October 25, 1884, a group of only 2,500 Union cavalrymen, led by Colonel Phillips and Lieutenant Colonel Benteen, found themselves outnumbered and facing against 7,000 Confederate cavalry forces at Mine Creek. But that's a story for another location. Additional buildings at the museum include the Amos Tubbs Cabin, the 1886 Trading Post Schoolhouse, and a machine shop. To the immediate west is the Trading Post Cemetery. Mine Creek Battlefield State Historic Site is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Upon arriving at this site, a mixed variety of emotions flood to the surface. There was a great pride for the United States having overcome one of our darkest chapters. There was a reverence for the many lives lost here at the battle at this location, and an overwhelming, humbling awareness of the cost paid by so many during the Civil War. This site is the largest Civil War battle site in the state of Kansas, and is one of the largest cavalry battles fought in the entirety of the Civil War. The Union's superior weaponry with advanced technology allowed their highly trained men to continue shooting while the Confederate troops were busy reloading their older one-shot weapons. The Confederates were forced to retreat. Confederate losses included 300 dead, 250 wounded, and 600 captured. Union losses included 15 dead, only 94 wounded, and 1 person captured. A large number of noble horses from both sides were killed during the battle. This brief description only touches the surface of what happened here and the tragedies and the heroism. If you want more information, please visit the site and experience it for yourself. Welcome to Emery's Truck Stop, the last rest, break, and bathroom stop before the 50-minute drive to Joplin. Although it's not like you need an excuse to stop in and try the pie. Stretching out as far as the eye can see along the horizon is one of 3 new wind farms. It's a great view and a way to see the future of clean energy in action. This location has a total of 69 turbines, the tallest of which is nearly 600 feet tall at the tip of the turbine blades. These wind turbines are part of a larger energy project by Liberty Utilities. When the project is complete, it will provide more than 50% of Liberty Utilities' electricity for the area, and it will in turn reduce the need for local use of coal by the energy provider to just 21%. Thanks for joining us on this first adventure. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to join us on future endeavors. Next stop, Joplin, Missouri.